have some breaking news into CBS Sports HQ. Four-star receiver Quentin Hale is about to make his commitment right here on CBS Sports HQ. Out of California, Hale is the nation's number 8 rated wide receiver in the class of 2027 and the number 55 recruit overall. Hale has narrowed it down to 4 contenders, that being LSU, Oklahoma, Texas, and USC. You're taking a look at the prospect profile. As stated, national rank coming in at 55, a 4-star recruit. So right now we do want to send things out to our very own Blair Angulo, who is on site joining us from Hale's commitment alongside the young man of the hour and his family.
Thanks, Jacqueline. Yes, we are here in downtown Los Angeles on a beautiful rooftop. We've got grandma, we've got mom and dad, and we've got Quentin Hale, 4-star wide receiver, the top pass catcher out west, getting ready to reveal his commitment. Quentin, you've got 4 hats here on the table. We're in late February, but obviously the recruiting process is a little bit accelerated. What made these 4 schools the ones that you're choosing between?
All these 4 schools showed me love throughout my whole high school process and my journey, and they showed me real love. So I just feel like these schools got to be the ones I choose out of these.
This is a celebration. We've got a ton of people here. We've got family here at the table as well. What has it been like to have some of these people, the support system around you as you decide and you make this choice?
It's been great having people support me. You know, you need that in order to get where you want to be. So it's been great having people by my side to help me do that.
Obviously, you've got some amazing choices here on the table. I think now is the moment. Now the time is yours. Where will you be playing your college football?
For the next 3 to 4 years throughout my college journey, I'll be taking my talents to the University of Southern California.
The USC Trojans, they land the number 1 wide receiver out west. The number 1 class, Quentin, in 2026. You're part of the 2027 class, getting things rolling for the Los Angeles team. What made USC the choice for you?
Just everything about his home. So the coach, Coach Lincoln Riley, Coach Simmons, Coach Chad Savage. He was my first ever offer. I mean, it just felt like home, the right thing to do.
You think about that offense, and I know we've talked about this before, when you look at Mekhi Lemon and what he was able to do there, Jacoby Lane, some of the star playmakers that they have in that offense. What is the vision that they have for you when you arrive on campus, when you join that team, and what your potential and upside can be in that offense?
Just be a playmaker. When I get there, I want to make an impact as soon as I can and dominate.
I know that a lot of prospects, especially here in Southern California, always talk about wanting to bring USC back to that time, right, when they were a dynasty in college football. For you personally, what does it mean to be a part of this program and to be part of that rebuilding process that they're doing there?
To me, I feel like it's a culture. So I feel like we got to get USC back to where it was in the glory days. So be a part of that.
Quentin Hale, we got grandma saying all right. I know family's happy. They're going to be here in Los Angeles to watch Quentin Hale. Celebration, Jacqueline, already beginning here in downtown LA as the USC Trojans land 4-star wide receiver Quentin Hale.
Yes! Thanks so much, Blair. The family is excited. Hey, that's a sick USC starter jacket, is it not? I kind of want one, right? So there you have it, 4-star wide receiver Quentin Hale committing to USC. You're getting a look at that profile once again in terms of USC there, but a 4-star recruit nationally coming in at 55 in his national rank, number 8 at the position rank, and Quentin Hale is going to be staying home in his home state of California and committing to USC. Let's welcome on our very own Andrew Ivins here to discuss. And Andrew, when Quentin was asked about it, he said, hey, this is home. It felt like the right thing to do, committing to USC. What were your initial thoughts on the commitment?
Well, first off, we love this kid, right? He's my type of wide receiver, big, 6'3". He's a jump ball winner. He's a guy that can dominate on the outside. And I think if you're a USC fan at home, you got to imagine Jacoby Lane. Quentin Hale's a lot like Jacoby Lane, who did a lot of good things for the Trojans this past season. And I think the fit there at USC is perfect. Look, hey, Brian Hartline's no longer coach of wide receivers at Ohio State. And I was talking with some of the colleagues. All right, who is the top wide receiver coach and talent developer? I think it's Dennis Simmons there at USC. This is a guy that's had multiple Blitnikoff winners in recent years. That includes Mekhi Lemon, who tore it up there in the Big Ten for USC. So this is a huge get for Lincoln Riley, for general manager Chad Bowden. This is a guy that can win on the outside, and you need to do that in the Big Ten, a physical line of scrimmage league. You need a guy that can make those contested catches, that can win down in the red zone. So this is a huge pickup. We love what USC did last cycle at the wide receiver position. And man, they're getting it ripping and roaring here because Quentin Hale isn't the only top guy they want.
And you know what, Andrew, I want to double down on what kind of player he's going to be and what USC is really getting with him at wide receiver, because he said, hey, we want to try and take USC back to what it was back in the glory days. But what are the Trojans really getting in terms of Quentin Hale at wide receiver?
Well, it's the class of 2027. It's looking pretty loaded at wide receiver. I've been out on the road scouting all these guys around the country, and he's a top 10 wideout for us in the class, and I think there's a good chance he's going to finish there. He could potentially be in that 5-star conversation, and if you have 5 stars next to your name, we think, hey, you could potentially be a first rounder one day in the NFL draft. So I think they're getting a guy that is going to be able to have a physical presence on the outside. And again, you look back at what USC did in the 2026 cycle, different flavors for the wide receivers. They're kind of lacking this guy that can be the go-to individual on 3rd and long and convert those first downs. So USC, I continue to love what they do. I mean, it was a huge recruiting class. They used to be so invested in the transfer portal. You're seeing the shift now for them to go after these high school guys. And most importantly, they're keeping the local talent home. And we saw him announce that commitment in downtown Los Angeles. All 3 of the other commits for USC in this 2027 class was up to number 18 in the rankings. All those guys are from Los Angeles. It's been a while since USC has had this type of buzz, and hey, they're opening a brand new football facility this summer. There's a lot of excitement there on campus about what they're going to be able to do.
Yeah, I was literally talking to Blair in the commercial break. I'm like, wow, this recruitment's like kind of a vibe. They're on a rooftop there. It's very LA, right? Want to bring it back to what you were noting about, guys that are from California and keeping that talent in the home state. How much is that playing a factor in this sort of recruiting class that they want to try and get back and get the number 1 recruiting class once again for 2027? How important is that to keep that talent in the state of California?
Well, certainly recruiting has changed so much with the name, image, and likeness, right? Kids can go to all different, corners of the country. We've seen it with the realignment as well. But for USC, you go back and you look at their glory days. You look at some of those wide receivers they've had in the past, some of those teams and those rosters that were assembled. The spine of those units was the local kids. And under Lincoln Riley, I mentioned it, they got so, I think, caught up in the transfer portal, trying to go after all these star players that were veterans. And those guys come with a huge price tag, and Chad Bowden, Max Steinecker, 2 off-field personnel guys, they show up there in Los Angeles this time last year, and you've seen a shift in philosophy. They want to go after the local high school talent. They don't want to let those guys go to Alabama and Oregon. And last cycle they certainly assembled, I think, one of the best recruiting classes of all time. It was the first non-SEC school to sign the number 1 class since 2008. We'll see what they're able to do in 2027. I think it's going to be a smaller group, but so far, I love every move they've made. And you look at some of these targets they got out there, this is going to be another special group. And I think it's going to make them not only competitive in the Big Ten, but it's a team to keep an eye out for when it comes to the college football playoff in the coming years.
All right, Andrew, we certainly appreciate it. Breaking down the very latest commitment for USC, getting 4-star wide receiver Quentin Hale. You see it there in the names there for the 2027 football commits for the Trojans. They got 2 3-stars, 2 4-stars that are up there. And again, Quentin Hale, remember, the number 8 overall wide receiver in the class.